tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And as always, I have a very special guest for you, Katiana Anglade of Lumby. She's going to tell you all about it herself, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Katiana Anglade. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. You're doing such great things. Double hats. We're going to have, it's going to be a duo interview tonight. So we're going to be talking about Lumby, the Haitian Foundation, yes. But then for all those real estate people, because 2022 is going to be a big year. We have a lot of changes coming up.
Right.
She's going to flip hats and tell us about that.
Absolutely.
But before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are? Who is Katiana Anglade?
Sure. Well, my name is Katiana. I was born in Haiti, but migrated over to the U.S. when I was about 3 years old. Since then, I've been here, submerged in the American culture, but still raised with all of my Haitian values at home. You know, with my grandmother, mother, father, all of that, we are the typical Haitian family. Being that I haven't gone back, I choose to give back in different ways as much as I can through church or my church organization, as well as through the Lumby Fund of Haiti.
That's amazing. And it's so funny that you said that because I find a lot of us who are of Caribbean heritage,
yes.
You know, either if we weren't born there, you know, we're first generation, your parents are born there. So they'll be like, they'll make it known you're American outside, but in this house, in these walls, it's a different.
Don't make the mistake.
Okay. So to hear you say that, I was like, I can relate.
That was the situation.
That's still the situation.
Yes,
That will be the situation.
It will.
And that's great. You know, so you've never went back to Haiti.
Absolutely, I have.
You have?
Yeah, we used to go back almost every year with my mother on vacation as younger children, but then for a while we didn't go.
Of course. Yeah.
There was a 20-year gap from the time that we had last gone on vacation until I actually went back for a cousin's wedding. And then after that, I started working with the Lumby Fund. And then since then, I've been back several times. Blessed. It's a blessing because it's different. When you go as a child, you're kind of stuck and confined to home and where your parents are bringing you. But as an adult, you learn things differently and you see the country differently and the people. So it's been awesome.
So how was that first trip going as an adult? Free from the parents, not staying at, you know, grandma's house with no AC.
Right.
Because I know about that life. So it's like, you know, and like you said, you're not confined to, you have to get to see the island on a different level. So for you getting to explore Haiti for that first time, how was that?
It was great. It was great. I was a little nervous, of course, because, you know, I'm by myself. Of course, I'm older, but I'm by myself. My mom isn't here. And, you know, there are people or family members that I'm with that I haven't seen in a long time. Or, you know, the family connection is still there, but I kind of have to depend on these people a lot more than just family members that I am totally used to. So being submerged in the culture there and on the ground, it was immense.
Yes.
It was immense. The food is different. You have a better appreciation for the food, which Haitian food altogether, wherever you are, is just spectacular. But in Haiti, it was just different. It was different. The people were different. To be able to live the culture in person and firsthand and appreciate it, it was different.
That's
it was
nice.
awesome. Yeah.
That's nice. So Lumby Fund, let's talk about it. Let's unpack it.
Yeah. Lumby's been on the ground in Haiti for about 25 years. We work in sustainable development, economic development, community credit funds. The difference with Lumby as a nonprofit organization, aside from the other organizations that work in Haiti, is we have a bottom-up approach. We're not coming to Haiti to say to the people that we serve, this is what we want to do for you. This is what we have. This is what we're going to give you. No, we take our cues from them. They are already established grassroots organizations that come to us. They submit proposals and they're like, listen, you know, our land is good for cultivating corn or whatever it is, but we just need some help. We need money or we need training. We need access to materials. We'll go out, we'll vet it, investigate the land, investigate everything. And then from start to finish, it's about a 12-month to 24-month process. We provide training on the job training, management training, of course, and then after we leave, we go back to evaluate. So what we're providing them with, the support we're providing them with, once we're gone, they can still continue to go. And that's the importance of sustainable development in Haiti. A lot of organizations, unfortunately, they do the handout process.
It's the dependent style.
Yeah, it's the handout as opposed to the hand up. So now when you leave and your mission is over, who's here to help them?
It goes back to give a man a fish or teach the man to fish.
Yes. Yeah, it's quite handicapping. And Haiti has been the epicenter of just handouts for so long. And people do need to start understanding. Since the earthquake, everyone asks, how can we help? How can we help? You help in a way that you either partner with an organization that's been on the ground already and that is doing sustainable work, or pray for them at this point, because anything else you're doing is crippling the economy. That's why the economy is in shambles.
And that's a great way. And I've never heard anybody actually frame it like this. So it's got me thinking, because it's like, everyone would come on here and they're looking for stuff to bring, and but you said it best. You're like, you're not really helping them, because it's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You're just constantly putting a Band-Aid over something.
Or you're breaking what's already there. If it can be purchased on the ground in Haiti, purchase it there. Do it there so that you're pouring into the economy and you're helping to build that, as opposed to bringing in and shipping all of this stuff over there. And then the person or the merchant who's there and has the merchandise to sell, their business is suffering because you keep importing the goods that you can actually get in the country. You're not helping. It's unfortunate.
But I like that approach that Lumbee takes, that you listen to those who live there, as opposed to, not like it's a mission, but it kind of is mission. It's not missionary style, but it does come in that same premise, where you come in and we're telling you,
Right.
this is what's needed. Yeah. This is what we're going to do. And then peace out, we leave.
Yes. Yeah, like right now, with all of the instability and with all the chaos that's going on, it's not safe. It's not safe, and the United States is determined it's not safe to travel down there, so you have people who are afraid to travel. When you're afraid to travel and you can't go down there, all the people that are just waiting for you because this is the setup that you have, what are they doing? Like, they have nothing, because you've gotten them in a position where they totally depend on you.
So how did Lumbee decide to go with this model? Because it's so very out the box.
Yes.
And not many people follow it.
Right.
Still. And there's other reasons why a lot of these people do it, because, there's kickbacks, there's different things. It's money. It's a money grab at the end of the day.
That's what it comes to. That's what it comes down to. Well, Lumbee was formed by a group of Haitian Americans and Americans together, a group of friends that realized, okay, there's a substantial problem in the country, and we want to help, but we don't want to make the problem worse. Mm-hmm. So they came up with the mission, they came up with a vision, and they came up with this model. And since then, this model has been working. So once we finish with your organization, after the 2 years is up, you're able to continue on with the project that we helped to build with you. But you take that, and whatever proceeds you get from it, you can build something else. You can go on to something else. You don't need us at all. So it works. That's why it works.
And that's amazing to be able to have that. And I wish more people would see that.
I think, you know what? I think they are starting to see it. And I think people are starting to understand the importance of a coalition and really joining forces together with organizations that are already on the ground. And we've seen that more since this recent earthquake in August. A lot of people like, listen, let's set up a hub. You do this thing, I do this. So let's connect with each other, build this network. That way, if my sister or my mother wants to support agriculture, I can let them know you do that. Although I do something else, I do education, I know somebody, and I know a viable organization that does agriculture.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So Katiana, at the beginning of the show, I said, you know what? We're getting ready to talk about real estate. Yes. And, we're closing off 2021. And 2022, there's been some big changes. So as a licensed real estate, salesperson, which is important to always get a licensed real estate salesperson. Don't get, there's so many people running around.
Right.
Imposters. You need to be licensed because it can come back to bite you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get someone who knows what they're doing, number one. And someone you can trust. You can vibe well with me as a licensed agent, and then someone else you just don't get along very well with them, although we provide the same services. Do what makes you comfortable, but don't do it alone. Especially in this market where people are asking astronomical amounts of money for homes that some might not even be worth what they're asking for and what they want you to offer on them. So you want to be careful, and you want to use someone who is experienced and who can do the homework before you submit offers, before you go into contract. It's important to not try to go at it by yourself.
And I kind of went through that because it was really hard when I was looking for my co-op. And I had to fire my agent because I ended up, the place I'm in now, I found it myself.
By yourself.
I literally found it alone because they had every excuse of why they couldn't it just wasn't meshing, like you said. It just wasn't a good functioning.
Well, it's not my job to fit you into a mold. I take the cues from you as a buyer. You tell me what you're looking for. And while we work with each other and we see different properties, I get to know and understand and put myself in your shoes and say, okay, well, this will work for her. This won't work for her, but this is why it might work. Most of the time, your first home is not 100% your dream home.
It's not. It's my starter home. It's my little starter home. I have some skin in the game.
Exactly.
And that's all I wanted.
Just sit on it, wait for the equity to build, and then you can sell it and do what you want afterwards and get something better. But understand it. As long as we know that at least 90% of what you're looking for is in this property, and it's within your budget.
The B word.
We're not doing too bad.
The big B word. So, of course, a lot of people with the pandemic, there was an exodus in New York. We know that. Clean sweep Manhattan, everything was just like, I'm hearing all my friends, getting these crazy great rates they locked in. And they're all complaining now. They're like, they're raising me for 2022. I'm like, what did you expect to happen?
It's changing. It is shifting. A lot of people had predicted that after the pandemic and after the quarantine had opened, after this great rise, things would come down. The prices of homes would come down. It's not happening as fast as many would have hoped it would happen. It's slowly leveling itself out, but also we do see that the interest rates are going up. So at the end of the day, it kind of evens itself out. But you do want to make sure that that B word is what you're going based off of. You want to work with a licensed mortgage broker or loan originator so that they know your financial picture from start to finish or from top to bottom, so that when you go out there, you have, these are your numbers, and then you work with somebody who can adjust and move with the times. The rates last week aren't going to be the rates next week. Correct. The house prices last week aren't going to be the house prices this week. So, you want to be able to have a team in place that can lead you and support you with whatever the wind blows your way.
And what about rentals? So when you're licensed, do you just do, like for you personally, are you just focused on homes? Do you do apartments as well? This is New York, so it's a combination.
I know. We do rentals. I do rentals. But when we really look at it, the price of rent nowadays is just about the same.
Rent.
It's your mortgage payment.
A mortgage payment.
It's a mortgage payment. So the first thing that I honestly do, and some people might like it, some people might not, but half the time they really just don't know that this is an option. They're just thinking, someone told me I can't buy a house, or I won't qualify for a house. How do they know that?
Yep.
They're not a loan officer. They don't work in banking. They don't do mortgages. Don't sell yourself short. If you know the only thing you could find, you need a 3-bedroom home or a 4-bedroom house, is going to cost you $3,000, $4,000 a month in rent, take the time, get pre-qualified. Go through the process. It won't hurt you at all to do that. Get pre-qualified, speak to a loan officer, and see what you would qualify for. Chances are you can qualify for something a lot better than what you were going to rent anyway. Not only are you paying that $3,000, $4,000 in rent, think about the amount of money that you have to put down. That's a whole down payment. That's a down payment on a house.
Oh, yeah, so if they want 3 months security, that's $12,000. Exactly. If you do the whole FHA, if it's your first time.
And they just don't know. Some people just don't know. Like somebody told me I wouldn't qualify because I have a car or something silly. I'm like, well, That's not necessarily true. Speak to a professional.
Yeah.
Speak to someone who's trained to do this.
You definitely have to have a little nest egg, for
Right.
sure.
Right.
I would say that. Good credit score and a little bit,
Exactly.
some money saved.
Exactly.
You
It's
can
a
get
start.
It's a start.
It's a start. And even if it doesn't happen now, like let's say if you weren't in an actual rush to move, but you're saying, your lease is up next August. Let me start looking for another place to rent now because I need more space. Then now is a good time to start looking. Let me see if I qualify for something. Let me see if I can actually buy something instead. And it gives you time. If you're not ready right this moment,
Get your ducks in a row.
exactly. So now you can come up with a plan to say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to pay this off, or I need to finish paying this off. And then
You want to knock it to make your DTI, which
Right.
is that whole debt to income.
Yep.
And that kind of was me, because what really prompted me, I was living in Crown Heights, and they gave us almost a year notice that they were going to raise the rent from $2,400 to $2,700. Right. And I'm like, okay, $2,700 is a lot to live on Utica Avenue.
Yeah. There are options. I could do better.
I was like, I could own something. It's just like the light bulb literally went off in my brain. And when I did the whole pre-qualifying and I'm like, this is what I have, they're like, okay, this is what the number you could work with. Hardest part was finding something available within that budget. That's the only other thing.
That's the next step. But you're working
almost
with
made me
someone.
go to Jersey because I was like,
You're not the only one to feel that way. You're not the only one to say that, but that part of it, that step, that house shopping, it takes a lot of patience. Some people find it quicker than others because some people are a little more flexible than others. But some of us are picky. If I'm going to be spending this amount of money or this much money, I want to get what I want to get. And I understand that. But as long as you're understanding, if it's feasible and it works for what you need, for what you and your family need, then you might be able to give up and say, you know what? I don't need a separate or detached garage.
Right.
I'll take a garage attached to the house. It's little things like that.
It'd be the little things.
Always the little things.
But that's where you have to have an expert like you.
Yes. Yes. Someone you can work with is someone who can help you understand these are little things. This is not big.
It's not a big thing. We'll hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back here watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So Katiana, how do everyone at home get to support the Lumbee Fund if they are interested, they want to donate? So of course it's a non-for-profit, so how do they get involved?
They can actually go on our website. It's www.lumbifund.org, and that's LAMBIFUND.org, or they can call us at 202-577-9367. They can also send an email at info@lumbifund.org, and we are always available to answer their questions. We're always available to go into detail about what we're doing and what the projects are that we're supporting in Haiti on the ground now.
That's amazing. 20 plus years is a long time for them to be doing this. Are you able to share any sneak peeks of what 2022 might look like for them?
Well, right now we have had to refocus all of our energies in emergency relief since the earthquake. And with that earthquake in the South, it caused a lot of damage. Although we don't do construction, a lot of people have lost their homes, but we're able to help them rebuild the businesses that they had. So the first step of our emergency relief was getting them the essentials. They didn't have water. They didn't have, hygiene products. They had nothing. So that was the first step. And then the next step is providing them with a little bit more support where they can begin to rebuild what was broken. Temporary shelters. We were able to assist most of our members and their organizations with temporary shelters. And then the next part is to actually rebuild their businesses, because a lot of them are merchants. They're small business owners. They're entrepreneurs, the people that we support. So we're at the point where we're starting to help them to refocus and to rebuild what they lost in the earthquake.
That's great. Because people are still, it always feels like you guys get ahead And then something happens.
Listen, it's one hit after another, and then you're just sitting there like, did that really just happen?
And then 2021, the assassination of the president. There's
Yes.
just so many different
And then
layers.
back to back. So it's like it's it's time, and I think it's happening. The shift is happening where the diaspora is becoming more and more involved with Haiti's recovery and with Haiti's rebuilding. That's what was needed. We can't depend on outside sources anymore.
FEMA and all those
Yeah,
different...
we cannot depend on those outside sources anymore. We need our own to come back and to help build.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might not know where it's going in security. Eventually, the lack of security right now makes it so much more difficult for people who do have the desire and the resources to help. But they need to work on that, of course. And once that's done, just stay focused in what you have and what you're doing and what your goals are to help, because it is really up to the diaspora to rebuild Haiti.
Amazing. And of course, shifting back gears, real estate for my real estate people, here in New York.
Yes.
Of course, licensed real estate salesperson. So you're getting someone who's professional.
Yes.
If people want to get in contact with you for a consult, how do they do that? The first steps of maybe wanting to move, and, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of movement.
Call or shoot me a text. My phone number is 516-728-4745. Or you can visit my website, www.realtorkatiana.org. realtorkatiana.com. This is what happens when
you got two hats.
So many
when you got two hats.
Yeah, I know. It's realtorkatiana.com. You can also find me on Facebook, on Instagram. Send me a message. I'm more than happy to help answer any questions that anybody has. We're happy to take a drive. If you're not familiar with a specific area, let's go. Let's get in the car and go.
You service all 5 boroughs, or you have a specialty that you...
Service all 5 boroughs, but, I live on Long Island, so I'd rather stay on Long Island.
Okay.
So I don't have to drive so far all the time. But I definitely service Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, everywhere. And we have offices everywhere, too. So if it's a situation where someone wants to move further upstate, further up the river, right, that's fine. I can refer you to someone within the Fave family that can help.
That's amazing. And in terms of your listings, you have access to really good listings. I think that's... from my personal experience going through this, if my realtor is going to do the same Zillow search that I'm going to end up doing, right.
It's a lot more networking also from a realtor perspective.
You're supposed to have the little access. You're supposed to have access to the sauce that I don't.
It's relationships. It's about relationships and building those networks, building those connections. There are agents that I have, the colleagues, and other people who aren't even agents, who know mortgage brokers, who know, listen, I've got this property, or I've got somebody who's going to sell a property. Those are those inside things where, I have somebody who's looking. They would be a great fit for this home or for this property that you're trying to sell. So it's the relationships that your agent has also.
And that's important. And I think that's a big key thing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you're going to do the same search that I'm going to do, because of course we're all going to do that. Or that's like the entry level stuff. We're going to go search.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, hey, Kat, I found this listing.
Oh, I want you to do that. I want you to do that. It helps me to see more what you really like and what you don't like. Huh. Because I might have seen something that I think, she would really love this. And then she sends me something that's totally opposite from what I was looking at. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she wouldn't have liked that. But you know what? It also comes down to those searches. I'm looking to see before I even send it to you, is it worth what they're asking for? Should we even waste our time on this property? You're looking at stuff
that we're not looking at.
That you might not. You might just be looking at the picture and say, oh, this looks great. But nowadays, most of these pictures can be deceiving.
Absolutely. I know that because I've seen my share.
Yes.
I walked in,
pictures
I'm
can be deceiving. Right.
I look at my apartment on Zillow and I was like, it don't really look like this.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this in person. Like, what happened to the pictures? So, a lot goes into that. Maybe we shouldn't waste our time on this.
The staging and the lighting and making everything perfect. And
yes. So a lot of that does come into play, and that's what we're looking at as agents, so that you're not wasting your time. And so that you're not, beating around a bush and like a hamster on a wheel and you're just getting nowhere. So.
And what's the average time frame that you would say if someone does have does it usually take 3 to 6 months to comfortably find something?
Some less. Some people less. Some people, we walk right in. There was one I sold in Brooklyn. It was a condo. It's the first property we saw. They were under contract for a previous condo. Fell through, didn't work out. There were some issues with the condo board. So when we had to start looking again, the first property we went into, that was it. So it really depends on the situation. If we're really looking and searching right for what you're looking for based on your criteria, we won't have to look very far or very long. And then from the time that you get into contract, you're looking at about 30, 45, up to 60 days from start to finish, where you can close and then you're all done.
And another person that you successfully helped.
That's right. And then I get gifts like this to a Black realtor because this is what I do. No, I love it.
That is what you do.
I love it. I love to make people's dreams come true, and I love to be a part of that process.
Yeah, you've probably been a part of many people's first purchase, even if it's their second, but that's a nice feeling because you don't forget that person.
Never. It's the connection they have with the home. That's a lot. It means something.
That's great. Well, Katiana, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We really appreciated having you.
Thank you for having me.
And it was a wealth of knowledge on both fronts, so thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Always. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.